All right, I think we're live right now. I'm checking the comments. Give me a heads up if you can hear me. Everything sounds okay. Just waiting for a confirm. I don't live stream a lot, and so I've gotten a little rusty from the tech perspective. So I want to make sure. Awesome. Cool. It's all good. All right. Hey, this hour is completely yours. I'm doing something a little differently. I'm sending all people that have recently subscribed to ZimmWriter in the past month an invite to this, but then I'm also throwing the invite in the group. Going to try to do a live stream once a week or thereabouts. And literally the hour is yours. If you have a question about how to do something with ZimmWriter, this is not necessarily, I don't want to spend time talking about feature requests or things like that, but I want to help you figure out, how to use ZimmWriter to accomplish whatever you're doing. So we can talk about whatever you like in that respect. So just ask your questions in chat, and we'll just get moving, okay? And I'll just kind of ramble on until I see a couple questions in chat. Got an update coming out tomorrow, and that will include the new Stable Diffusion models. We have Stable Diffusion 3 and Stable Diffusion. I'm going to switch back modes here until I see a question. We'll get Stable Diffusion 3, Stable Diffusion 3 Turbo. They do get a little bit more expensive. So that's coming tomorrow. And we're also going to have in tomorrow's update the bulk image generator, and that's phenomenal. That allows you to just put in URLs or put in blog post titles and then generate just images, no article, just images in bulk for those things. It's great if you're just trying to fill up your WordPress site with a bunch of images to then pick and choose from. And it's also useful if you get some images that were blurred or whatnot. And then you can even, like, if you have a client or something and they just want their images updated, you can just put in the URLs. It will scrape those sites and create new images for those products. And then I have a little bonus for all the people that like the local SEO buffet. There'll be a copy paste feature to copy from the clipboard and automatically paste into the local SEO buffet your highlights, your locations, and your services and things like that. So it should be a much quicker way to get your data input into the buffet. All right, so we got a first question. Let's see here. I'm serious. Like, this is your now why? Oh, let's see if I can move this thing down here a little bit. All right, move it over here. All right. So the question is, what is the best way to write product details for a fashion e-commerce site? Like a roundup or something like that? You have a fashion e-commerce site. I don't know if there's a little bit of a delay. So I'll talk while you maybe expound upon that question. So you can use the bulk product. I mean, this is a perfect example. Fashion's a little bit closely related to sun lotion or sunscreen. So this was all generated with the bulk product roundup feature. So you go to the AI Vault and product roundup, and then you can put in your, check it out, sun and lotion. And we'll click Start Roundup. And then ZimmWriter will go to Amazon. Now you need scrape out for this, okay? It says, oh, there's no products provided, so let's go find some. So it finds all the different Amazon products, and then you can kind of go through here manually. Now this is not a full URL. The URL stops right here, and then I have the title of the product in here, so you can kind of say, oh, you know what, this one right here is not really related to sunscreen. I'm going to kind of take that out. And then when you're all happy with this, you can say, okay, I want you to pick like the top 4 products in here, or I want you to pick from all these products randomly. And you can actually write multiple different suntan lotion articles just using a random mix of products. So that's how I generated this one right here. But I don't think that was your question. So Bert says, as a follow-up, no title, description, the entire thing. Right, product details. No title description. I'm still not clear on what you want. So you want the best way to write product details for a fashion e-commerce site. I mean, you could create a magic command. I'm trying to think. Oh, okay, here's what you could do. So you go to Amazon. I think what you want to do is you just want product details for products. And you'll have to do another follow-up and tell me if you have like these products are from that you're creating, or you have URLs to the products. Because if you have URLs to the products, you can take the URL to the product. It doesn't have to be Amazon. It can be kind of wherever. And then you can go over to the, let's see, you can go to like Notepad and you can summarize this. And then once you've summarized it, you can run a magic command on this. So it doesn't have to be from a URL or not, but we can go to the advanced triggers and we can create like a magic command, which is just basically a prompt, and say like, write, 5 pros and cons for this product. Also write, 1 paragraph. Now let's do this. Write a 1 paragraph summary for this product. Also write 5 pros and cons in a bullet list. All right, so you'd have to play with your prompt a little bit, but let's save this here. Review, and we'll assign this to trigger 4. Okay. So now what I can do is and again, I pulled this from a URL, but you can just type in your own stuff if you want to. So we'll just highlight it all and hit Control 4. And kind of give it a second to think. So there you go. There's your summary. All right. And there's your pros and there's your cons. So that's kind of maybe what I would do if create a new BERT. Okay. Yeah. So if you want to create a new product BERT, I think that's probably the solution. You put all your product details in there, and then you just highlight all the product details and all the information and whatnot, and use your advanced trigger command. There's also, I don't know if you guys know, there's a magic menu which allows you to keep, maybe you have like a lot of different triggers and whatnot. And so you can just click the one that you want, highlight the text, click the one that you want. Magic menu is a highly underrated feature. All right, so let's see what other questions we got. All right, Ali asks, what are the best ways to write article on a pet niche site? That's a really broad question. Pet niche. I mean, so you got a couple options. I would probably start with, the reason it's broad is I don't know if you've done your research yet, your keywords and whatnot, or you already have your keywords and you want to turn them into titles. So I guess the high level flow would be you'll need titles to write about, and those titles need to come from keywords. And so you can get those titles and those keywords 2 different ways. You can go to like something like Ahrefs or SEMrush, and you can get all the keywords that you want to. And then I like Keyword Chef. Now that's a paid subscription, but I like to put all my keywords into Keyword Chef, and it will cluster them so that there's no cannibalization. And then once you have that final list of keywords, what you can do is go over to the AI Vault and click on SEO keywords to blog post titles. Okay, so if we had like, let's see, best cat food, best dog food, or how to wash a dog, how to wash a dog. All right, so you have all your different keywords and things like this in here. And we could say pets, and we'll select turbo just to go fast. And so you can turn all of those SEO keywords into blog post titles. Now, it's not scraping the SERP right now, so it's trying its best to get the right search intent. But you might need to manually kind of go through that. So that's one option. I'll show you the result here. That's one option to get some blog post titles to write about. The other option would be to use the topical authority generator. So let's open up this right now. So these are the keywords. And then for each keyword, it gives us 5 different possible titles, and then it tries to pick the best one. Best cat food. So best cat food brands. Maybe it should have been like 5 best cat food or food for your cat or something like that. Best dog food choices for your furry companion, how to properly wash your dog in 10 steps. Okay, so that's one way to get some titles if you don't have titles already to then start writing about. The other thing you can do is you can go to the AI Vault and click on the topical authority generator and kind of fill this out like pet care. And we can say, okay, generate us some different clusters and whatnot. So it has these different clusters, or we can add more, regenerate it, whatever. And that's a way to get some different titles to write about. The downside with that, though, is there's no search volume guaranteed with that. So it could be hit or miss. But that will give you your blog post titles. So once you have your blog post titles, then you go back into ZimmWriter. I don't know why I closed it. You'll go into ZimmWriter, and I would probably, a lot of people really use the SEO writer to write their pillar posts. You could do that if you want to, although I kind of like the spray and pray approach. So you can put all your different titles into here, and then choose your settings and write your posts and just have them automatically uploaded to WordPress. So that's what I would probably do. If you want kind of more specifics, just ask another question, I suppose. All right, let's see what this is. Stockholm Syndrome asks, Nuke AI words doesn't work very well, at least not for me. Am I doing something wrong? I've added some extra words which are not in your list. Could you show? So the Nuke, it's in the options menu. I said AI words to Nuke, so it's in here. And your question, I'll just answer some broad. It's a broad question, so I'll answer some specifically broad details about this because I don't really know where it's not working for you. The more words you put in here, all right, like the LLM, OpenAI is an LLM, or their models are, and it's going to write a predictable next word based on a probability determination. And so if it's going to write the word, navigating, for instance, or look no further, look no further. And it writes that, and we say, okay, I want you to nuke this and replace it with something. It very well could replace it with another AI word. So each LLM has their own way of writing, their own, personality, favorite words to use next and whatnot. And they are kind of similar, but they are a little bit different. So for OpenAI, for instance, if we nuke this word, look no further, it might replace it with something else that's an AI word that you don't like. I know there was one, I forget which one it was. It wasn't delving. I don't know. There was one where it would replace it with another AI word. And then if we had it replace it again, it would replace it with the previous AI word. So it was like this infinite loop. So you can't expect it to eliminate 100% of the AI words because it might just be replacing those words with other AI words. Also, the more, the more stuff you have in here, the more, things you have in here, the more chances of having more AI words appear is possible. So I would just whittle this down to the very, very important words that you don't like, that are just kind of like triggers in people's minds that, oh yeah, an AI wrote this. That would be like your delving, your dive, things like that, okay? So number one, first tip is whittle this down, all right? I just gave you guys some ideas with this, but maybe put 10 words in here or 10 phrases in here, The second thing is this applies immediately after generating a section. And so if you apply a custom prompt, right, that custom prompt could cause AI words to be added back into it. So this applies before, like if we have our waterfall of steps, we generate the section and then we apply the AI words, we apply your custom prompt, and then at the very end, we do the translation, okay? So it could be that if you're using a custom prompt, it's adding the AI words back in. And then also, the model you choose, if you choose GPT-4 Turbo, it will do a better job of replacing those AI words and possibly replacing them not with other AI words too, because the vocabulary for GPT-4 is just that much larger. So, and I forgot to mention, style mimic will apply before the nuking of the words. So that one's okay, but the custom prompts applies afterwards. Okay. James says, I use the SEO writer a lot, but whenever I scrape a URL, it scrapes the top 5, which some are not related. How do I choose my own? Okay, so James is asking, let me just scroll down and make sure we're good. So when you're talking about scraping a URL, SEO writer, you're talking about SERP scraping, I presume, right? So SERP scraping, what's going to happen is it's going to go out to Google. ZimmWriter will have ScrapeL go to Google and pull in the top 10 or top 20 results, and then kind of go through the results to find ones that are related to your query. Now, there are some queries that some titles, I call them titles, but that we're basically putting the title in and then using that title to go search Google. Now, sometimes that title doesn't have anything good at Google. You know, it's how to train a snail to ride a unicycle. Well, there's nothing on Google about how to train a snail to ride a unicycle. So that would be a type of query that I would not use SERP scraping with, okay? Because you'll get poor results. So it could be that your titles are not really good in the SERP. Now, if you have like a mediocre title, maybe there's a couple good results, but a couple that aren't very good. ZimmWriter does try to filter out the ones that aren't very good. The other thing you can do is, instead of SERP scraping, you can put in up to 3 URLs in this section, and then you can also obviously put in some background URLs. Here we go, background URLs. Now that's a little bit more cumbersome. The other thing you can do, okay, is if you do want to SERP scrape, all right, you'll do the SERP scraping, and let's see. So we'll do our SERP scraping, and you can scrape the SERP now. So you'll get all that data before you write the article. And then what you can do is you can go through the global background and like remove things that you don't like. You can also come over here and press the SS button to generate the talking points that the ZimmWriter would use already. And if you don't like them, you can modify them, okay? So you kind of dial in exactly what you want. All right, so let's see. First tip is make sure that your title is, has good SERP results. A second tip is maybe don't SERP scrape if it doesn't have good results. Third tip is use some URLs if you don't want to SERP scrape, okay? Get exactly what you want. The fourth tip would be to SERP scrape now and then kind of edit the results. As far as selecting the URLs that are from the SERP scrape, I don't have that feature yet, but I guess I could theoretically build that as an option, like a pop-up window for a user. But I don't know if there's enough people that want that feature. The other thing you can do is, if you're consistently getting like one particular result that you don't like in the SERP, you can go to the let's see, options menu, set up ScrapeL, and you can add like CNN.com, like pretend that's the website that you just don't like. You can block the domain, and we'll save it. And now whenever CNN.com is encountered, it will skip that domain, okay? Now this isn't really useful unless you're consistently getting the same domains again and again when you're SERP scraping, okay? All right, let's see. Shiraz asks, please guide me how to write a product description using a manual keyword. I purchased Zim but have no idea how to use this. How do I open this trigger box? Okay, 2 different questions. Using a manual keyword. Okay, Shiraz, do you want product description? I'm not sure if you want to write a product roundup article like this, or just a product description. It sounds like maybe just the product description of what I did before, because you were trying to use that trigger box. So main menu, all right, advanced triggers, all right, and then we'll have our notepad open over here or something like that. And let's see, there's our product description that we just pulled from wherever. You can summarize a URL, or you can just paste in a description that you want to, okay? And then you can just run a magic command on this. Like we can highlight all this and hit Control 1, and it will use this as the prompt down here, but feed all of this in. So we're just running a straight magic command and it does what we want. Okay, so we don't even need to get into the advanced triggers and mess with stuff, unless of course in the advanced triggers you can set your model and stuff like that. But if you want like GPT-4 or you configure anything over here, make sure to check this box so that it applies this stuff when this menu is closed. Okay, so a straight up magic command is you have just stuff on the screen and you'll put like, you know, your prompt or your command down here, like, you know, why is the sun hot? And we'll highlight the text. Control-1 runs our magic command. So our magic command that we're doing here is write one paragraph summary for this product. All right. Also write 5 pros and cons. So we have our description, we have our little command down here, and we'd hit Control-1 like I did, and it will carry out the command. Okay. Now, if that's something that you do a lot, that's when we can save our command. So we go to the advanced triggers, and you'll have a blank area in here, and you'll type in, you know, your command. Okay. Let's actually delete this. I'll show you. There, delete. Okay. So it's empty. So you type your command in. Okay. Then what you do is you'll find an empty box and you'll left click on the empty box and it will say, hey, let's save this. So you'll call it review, and then you can optionally assign it to an extra keyboard trigger. So we could assign it to Control-4 if I happen to use it a lot, and I'll click save. Okay. Now, if you ever want to modify it, you'll right click on the button and it brings it back up. You can rename it or reassign it if you want to, whatever you want to do, or delete it. Okay. So I think that might answer your question. You were just kind of asking how do we do that? George asks, let's see. George asks, are prompts entered in the magic command the same as prompts used directly in ChatGPT, or is there a difference? Well, so there's a difference, being that when you type into ChatGPT, it's taking the entire conversation and feeding that back in. So if we said like this, let's go over here and let me show you. All right, why is the sun hot? So pretend this is ChatGPT. It's really not, but pretend it is. Okay. Tell me more. Okay. So when we would, you know, enter this into the chat and hit enter, what's basically happening is the entire previous conversation is being fed back in to OpenAI, and then it's processing that. So ZimmWriter works a little bit differently. So it tells me more. So, you know, we're pretending that was ChatGPT. All right. ZimmWriter works a little bit differently because it only works on the stuff that you highlight. Okay. So if I highlight tell me more and hit Control-1, it's going to have no idea about what we're talking about. What specific topic would you like to learn about? So in ZimmWriter, only the stuff that you highlight is fed back in to OpenAI. So that's the first difference with ChatGPT. Now, you might have been asking, is the text, the prompt itself that's being fed into OpenAI, the same in ZimmWriter, also in ChatGPT? It is, as long as you're not configuring any of this stuff. If you're using some of this stuff, or you're using, you know, some of this stuff or some of these settings, then there's more back-end stuff that ZimmWriter will feed in. But if you're simply in Notepad or someplace and you're highlighting just a simple command and you're not applying any other settings, then literally what's being fed into OpenAI would be identical to what's being fed in ChatGPT. Okay, hope that answers it. All right, we're not talking features requests right now. All right, Amit asks, can I add keywords to outline focus in the bulk writer? So if for those of you that don't know, and you go in the bulk writer, let's see, I think outline focus is explained in here. Okay. So when you specify in the bulk writer a blog post title, I don't know why I always use how to watch a dog, but it's hard for me to think on my feet when I'm doing a live stream because my brain's going in 20 different directions. So it's always how to watch a dog. That's what we're always talking about, how to watch a dog. You can add some variables to the end of that title. The first would be category. Oops. So we could say, dogs. Okay. And this would only apply if you're uploading it to WordPress. So you go to WordPress, you select your site and stuff like that, because there's situations where you have like 100 different articles to write and they're all going in different categories and stuff like that. So you can do a category, but you can also do an outline focus. Okay. So it looks the same way. Outline equals blah, blah. Okay. Now what an outline focus is, it allows you to give direction to the AI as it creates the outline. Okay. When you put this in here, the AI, if you're not using SERP scraping, is just going to try to use its own brain to come up with an outline for how to watch a dog. And it's going to limit it to, the number of headings you choose. Okay. But sometimes you want to take it in a specific direction, the outline. And so that's where outline focus can come in. So an example for a blog post titled Analyzing Trump's Public Statements. Okay. The context for the numeric list is analyzing Donald Trump's public statements for the topic of public statements in the context of Donald. I guess that's a poor example because I actually pulled that from the topical authority generator. Let's see another one. I mean, you could say this. You could say outline focus equals the history of washing a dog along with best tips and things to look out for. And then what we can do is when we go to generate, let's just generate a limit of 5. It's still going to take time. I wish I could just show you the outline. All right, we'll let that run for a second. And that kind of gives direction to the AI. Now, your specific question was, can we add keywords to it? You can't add keywords to the outline focus because the outline focus is simply to give the AI direction when it's creating the outline. Now, if you do want to get more granular, but want that bulk functionality that the SEO writer does not offer, you can use the bulk SEO CSV. And that's a Google sheet. I don't know if you've used it before, but that will allow you to create your outline exactly how you want it. You can feed in keywords, you can do all kinds of stuff. So it's very, very close to what you can do in the SEO writer, but it's in bulk using this Google sheet that you would then import. So hope that helps. But we'll circle back when this thing finishes. Shiraz, if you have more questions, just reach out to me. Send me a PM. Let's see. Okay, Amit asks again, how to write viralish, BuzzFeedy, clickbaity titles using ZimmWriter. Love it. So I played with that before, and that would be number one. That would be through a magic command. I don't have a clickbait feature in here. We could build an automated way to do that and incorporate it somehow. But the best way, in my opinion, would be to go to BuzzFeed, for instance. So we'd go to I'll show you. Let's go to Playground first. Crud. Okay. Let's go over here to BuzzFeed. All right, so what I would do is I would, come on. They make it so hard to copy stuff. Really, really hard to copy stuff. So we're doing some prompt engineering right now. I'll show you how to create a prompt using samples. Okay. That's not really BuzzFeedy. All right, we'll do 4 samples. And actually, it's probably easier to make this inside a notepad. All right, so here's my samples. So we're going to call this output. And I'm going to go 3. Live prompt engineering is definitely a tricky beast. All right. Write a blog post heading for. All right. All right. So we could put our titles in here about awful friends. We'll do one more. Fantastic. All right, we're going to try this. About how to wash a dog. All right. So this is an example of creating. So let me take a step back. So the AI being an LLM writes predictable things. It doesn't really write BuzzFeed style stuff well. It doesn't, because nobody talks like that. The stuff that it was trained on was just normal language, normal text that people wrote. And the majority of people on the internet don't write BuzzFeed headlines. Okay. So if you wanted to write BuzzFeed headlines, you need to feed it samples. So we take some existing samples and then we kind of like pretend we had an input. Okay. And then we take all of this and paste it into the playground. See if I can make this a little smaller. And we'd say output. And so these are our samples. And we've separated each sample with these 3 tags. Now you could probably do this with the magic command too, although you'll likely get better performance if you use it inside of the playground. And let's bump it up to turbo. And we'll click submit. And it didn't really write a BuzzFeed style blog post heading. We'll give this a shot. Hopefully it works. If it doesn't work, then we're screwed. That's not bad. It knows what BuzzFeed is, but all right, that's not bad at all. 10 hilariously unexpected tips on washing your dog that pet owners swear by. 10 essential steps you need to know before you wash your pup that will make bath time a breeze. All right, let's try a different one. Let's try kids who skipped school. It's not really a keyword, but we could write an article on it. 15 hilarious confessions from kids who mastered the art of skipping school without getting caught. That's pretty cool. All right, let's try one more. Tricks to win the lotto. All right, that's just a weird one. 10 unbelievable lotto winning tricks that lotto winners swear changed their luck forever. Okay, so that's what I would probably do. It's more of a manual process. It might be hard to do it. Automated in an automated fashion, although you could possibly use the text discombobulator for this. You'd have to read the directions. I think you might be able to use the text discombobulator once you kind of dial in your prompt from the playground. Okay, so hope that maybe gave you some direction. All right, Steph, let's try to move a little faster. Steph said, maybe SERP scrape should look for the first 100 results with the way Google's results are nowadays. You know, Steph, I've looked at that, and the issue is after the first page, stuff is just not relevant. The first 10, you're going to get your most relevant things, but after that, you know, I think it could end up really biasing the AI. Let's see. Ganti asks, As for a different search engine for SERP scraping, maybe add Microsoft Bing, if not too much time. I can look into seeing if ScrapeOwl adds other search engines. I don't know if they do though. Enisor asks, I want to directly write in a foreign language, not translate afterwards. So the problem with directly writing in a non-English language is you can do that with one prompt. You know, we can go over here and we can say, I don't know how it works with the magic command. It might not work. We could say, write a blog post about reasons to go to college. Write the blog post in Spanish. Let's try this. I forget what my prompt is behind the scenes. I might tell it to write in English. I'm not sure. We'll see. Something like this in ChatGPT or the Playground or just in AI in general will work very well because the entire prompt it's in English, but it's telling you exactly what to do. We're not feeding this result back in. The problems arise when we feed this. So we said, okay, here's our prompt and here's our result. And then we feed this result back in to OpenAI. And we say, modify this or change this or alter this or something like that. ZimmWriter does that all the time. It's feeding in what it already wrote and modifying it, using it for context for the next sections it's going to write. And so the problems are when my prompts are in English and the output for a step is not in English, and then we feed all that mixed language, that English and non-English back in, the result becomes a mixed language also. It becomes this English and non-English. So that's why we have to translate afterward. I've talked to, I went to a conference recently and I was in the car with three other AI developers. We were going to a gun range to shoot some guns. And the three other, it was really cool. It was a great conversation, but they all do exactly what I'm doing also, because they ran into the issue where you get mixed language when you are trying to translate up front. The only other solution would be for every one of the prompts I make to be in that non-English language too. But as my prompts are always changing, there's no solution to it aside from translating at the end. So if you don't like the translation, there are a lot of people that ZimmWriter does, then just write it to English. And then a lot of people will use DeepL, D-E-E-P-L, as a really good translator. But that's kind of the conundrum we're in right now. Let's see. All right, Explore Washington State asks, any update on the fully functioning? I get it. I understand it. I'm juggling a million balls right now. It's hard, and I'm still working part-time at my formerly full-time job. For the advanced trigger magic command, the command only limited to 3. Yes, yes, Shun. So if we go to the advanced triggers, you know, there's only so many keyboard keys that you can assign before it just gets a little ridiculous. So there's 3 right now, but that's why I created the magic menu. So check this out. Let's see. Let's do another one. Write a Facebook post. Make this a little simpler. Facebook. And you can assign this, or we'll just take it off right now. And we'll say, write a tweet. And we'll assign this tweet. Okay, we leave that on if we want to. Okay. Why is the sun hot? Come on. Okay, so imagine you had this text right here, and you have tons of different triggers. You filled up this entire thing right here, but you're like, oh crap, I'm only limited to 3 triggers. What do I do? That's where the magic menu comes really handy. So Control-7 to bring it up. Okay. Now, what we can do is we highlight the text and then you tell it what you want it to do. Okay. So we'll do tweet. So now it's going to turn this into a tweet. So here's the original. Here's our input. And then here's the tweet. There's the output. Now the magic menu kind of went away. So there's a feature we have called Keep Menu Open. So let's say you're doing some word processing or doing some editing, okay? And you have all your different commands and stuff open. We can say, okay, you know what? I want a tweet. So now when we do it, the menu stays open, and watch what will happen. So there's our tweet. There's our Facebook post. So, you know, maybe you have like 10 different advanced triggers. You can kind of just bang them all out on the content really easily and not have to deal with like Control-6, Control-5, and all that stuff like that. I hope that helps answer some questions. Peter asks, does ZimmWriter accept and understand prompt tags which Peter Hathaway shares? For example, no. I mean, it's when you're in, like, I don't know where you'd add that. You know, a custom prompt, no. In a magic command, you know, it's just part of the prompt. So if you add stuff in, such as one of those prompt tags, you could see what it does, but there's nothing magical. You know, maybe use plain English or something like that. We could say like, write a blog post about how to get into college, use plain English. Although I don't know what plain English is. I don't know what the word plain means. We could say use English, but then it becomes redundant because it's going to write in English to begin with. So is plain English actually doing anything? And this is kind of where understanding a cause and effect comes into play. Like, what does this word actually mean? And how is the AI interpreting it? Maybe the AI is interpreting it a certain way, and that would be something to investigate. But you know, you could just add your tags, I suppose, at the end of your prompt if you want to, and just see what happens. Amit asks, he loves the bulk SEO CSV. If you don't know what that is, and this is more of a more advanced concept, I suppose, but it allows you, so you can load the bulk SEO CSV file, and you're like, well, where are the instructions? When you click on the template, it takes you to this Google Sheet, and there's very, very important instructions here. Okay, normally I'll have like a blog post for my instructions. All the instructions are found right here. Very important to read it. Here's some example data for you to kind of look at and understand. And then when you fill it all out, it creates this sheet 2. And this is the sheet that you're going to export as download as this CSV file. Okay, you don't download sheet 1. And it will essentially allow you to do just about everything you can do with the SEO writer, but in bulk. The only thing you can't do is add paragraphs for your subheadings. You can't add URLs for your subheadings. So it can do a lot of stuff. Let's see. James, oh, wait, I'm sorry. Oh, you're responding to somebody. Just a knock on Google. I understand. Yeah, Google's kind of all over the place right now. I don't think there's a lot of people that are extremely happy with Google. Just going through some of the comments. Yeah, natively on the Mac would be awesome and will be awesome. All right, I don't have any more questions right now. We still have like 15 more minutes. I'm going to demo for you if you want. Do you guys want to see a demo of the beta that's or the release that's coming out tomorrow? I could show you that really quickly. I think you might like that. And in the meantime, maybe someone else will have another question that they want to ask. Let's see here. Close ZimmWriter. Let's open up the beta. So we're just kind of messing around until somebody asks another question. See now, Michael. Now, guys, I can't demo this because Michael asked a question now. So yeah, okay, we'll have to answer the question. Michael asks, is it possible for the bulk writer to randomly X number of placeholders or tokens in the articles? Rephrase it, Michael, and then I'll readdress it. I'm not sure what specifically you're asking. Okay. It's possible for the bulk writer to randomly X number of placeholder for tokens in the articles. I'm not sure what that means, but rephrase it. I'll try to answer it. So this is what's coming tomorrow. It's assuming there's no game-breaking bugs. I don't think there are. AI Vault, and I've kind of moved some stuff around. I've kind of renamed stuff. The product roundup got moved up here, but there's a bulk AI image generator. Okay, this is so cool. It's really awesome. So I encourage all of you very, very strongly to, well, I guess let's start with this. How to wash a dog. Okay, so you put your titles in here. You can also put URLs in here. Now you need your prompt over here to generate it's a prompt to generate the AI image prompt. So I encourage you all to go to the options menu, and this will, I've renamed this. Before this said set mid-journey prompt, but that confused people. So it's called set AI image prompt. And this already exists in your existing version of ZimmWriter, okay? But this allows you to view the prompt that I create, or I don't create. This is the prompt that I use when you're writing an article. So how to wash a dog. And then on the fly, dynamically, I'll fill in title with the title of the article that you're currently writing, how to wash a dog. So I feed this into OpenAI. And then OpenAI gives me a prompt back, okay? Same thing for the subheadings, title, and then so there's two placeholders, title, subheading. Up here, there's just title. So these are the prompts used on the H2s, okay? Prompts used on the titles. Send this stuff to OpenAI. I get a prompt back. And that prompt that I get back, I then take and I feed into DALL-E or I feed into Stable Diffusion. So that's why I call this a prompt to generate a prompt, okay? And then you can also create an override. So this would be a prompt that would override the default as long as, this is in here and you check this box. You can do all this stuff right now in ZimmWriter, okay? And then you can also create site-specific prompts. Maybe you're in a health and beauty niche, and a lot of times the images in those niches will be blurred or prohibited by OpenAI. Like anytime the word skin is used or things like that, then DALL-E or Stability sometimes either blurs the images or prohibits the image generation. So you can, for your niche, start figuring out like ways around that. Maybe, as an example, taking the health and beauty niche, like let's pretend that this site is all about health and beauty. All right. Do not mention anything about body parts, skin, or things like that. I don't know. You test that out. And that would hopefully avoid OpenAI from generating a prompt that mentions body parts, skin, or things like that. And so the prompt that you get back might be very good for the health and beauty niche. So you just play with this a little bit. You could also say like, describe settings and physical objects, but no people. Avoid people or body parts. Okay. And what I basically do is I would go to OpenAI. I'd go into OpenAI here, and I'd say, skincare lotion. This is kind of what we would do. We'd go to OpenAI, and we generate the prompt. Capture an image of a table displaying various tubes and bottles of skincare lotion. Okay, so this is the prompt then. So ZimmWriter is doing all this behind the scenes. This is the prompt then that ZimmWriter would then feed into DALL-E or feed into Stable Diffusion. So you can kind of test this stuff out a little bit. You can go into your generated article and take your title. Okay, this is the title one. Or if we're dealing with a subheading, you can take your subheading and title and subheading and paste that stuff in there, and then see what you get out. And then you can actually take that to ChatGPT and paste that in. But you'd have to kind of modify it a little bit, like create an image of a prompt or create an image displaying a table, blah, blah, blah. Or you can take this to Dream Studio, and that's Stability's online testing platform, and you can test it out inside of Dream Studio. But that's what ZimmWriter is doing. And going back to our bulk image generator, okay? So our prompt would go inside of here. Okay, see how that works? Now we can load up a prompt. We can load up the default. That's the default prompt. You can't change this. This is that override prompt we created. And then maybe you have a site-specific prompt that you created. You can't edit these prompts inside of this interface. The only way to edit these prompts is in that previous interface I showed you in the ZimmWriter options menu, okay? You can simply load your saved prompts. So maybe you're correcting images for this particular site, and you have a specific prompt that applies for that site. That's where you would, load this up and then have your stuff over here, okay? So let's use the default, and let's put how to wash a dog. And then we'll also go over here to, I'll show you, this is so cool. How to wash a seagull. So I'll put 2 in here. I'll put a title and I'll put a URL. And this is the model that is used to take this prompt and create a prompt from a prompt, okay? So it's not too expensive if you use Turbo, but obviously test it out. Image model. I'm going to use Core. Core is a little bit more expensive, but that's okay. And the number of AI images per URL. So, or per title. So I'll get 3 images for this, 3 images for this. If I want more, I can say let's just do 4. So create AI images in bulk. It's checking we have access to the model. And then it will process that stuff. So it will actually, process the title that we put in, and then we'll actually go out and scrape the URL that we provided, and then summarize it and then write based on that. So we'll let that run for a moment, and I'll see if there's any more questions while that's running. Oh, and there's also a really cool feature. I can't show it now because it's running, but you'll be able to paste in your stuff for the local SEO buffet. So any local people will really love this. Is it possible for bulk writer to randomly X number of placeholders or tokens in the articles? Oh, then you kind of rephrased it. I'm looking for a way to add links in the bulk articles. This is not possible at present, so I was wondering if it's in. Are you talking about internal links or external links? Internal linking is best done through a third, party plugin or something like that, like Link Boss or Link Whisper. External links to sources. You could possibly use a custom prompt for that. I know some people do. Test it out. Could you connect ZimmWriter to Perplexity to get background info out? So a little bit on this. I got a couple more minutes while this is generating. I want to bring in open source models to ZimmWriter. We're not quite there yet because I tried adding that, and the problem was, and this I'm answering your question, but I'm going a roundabout way. The new AI models that were released, only Llama 3, the 8 billion token model, can run on most computers at an adequate speed, but the quality is just not there. The 70 billion model, and I've tested it in ZimmWriter, it just doesn't work because the quality is not there. The 70 billion model, I have not tested in ZimmWriter, but I hear the quality is a lot better. So I'm going to test that. But unfortunately, most people's computers could not run it. Now, there's someone today that mentioned this Grok thing, which has very high quality and uses that 70 billion model in the cloud. It's very, very inexpensive. So that might be a viable route. I might be bringing that in soon. In terms of other AI models, such as Perplexity or Claude or Gemini, I was working towards that, but the API stuff for Gemini is not quite finalized. Like, yeah, you can tap into it, but things are kind of in flux right now, and all the documentation is not out right now. And Claude is cool, but I don't know how much better it is than GPT-4 or something like that. I mean, it's better, but how much? How significant? Are you going to jump in the rankings on Google? I don't know, probably not. I'm more interested in bringing something that's like game breaking, which is that Grok model. Not to be confused with Elon Musk's Grok. This is a completely different, lots of Groks floating around. I don't know. All right, Amit asks, what's the optimized workflow for a fresh site using ZimmWriter? What are the steps? Give me a second. I'll try to come back to that. Let's look at the images first. So how to wash a dog. That prompt that we used in ZimmWriter, this prompt right here, when we fed that into OpenAI, OpenAI created this prompt, and then this prompt, and then this prompt. So these are the prompts that OpenAI created, and then we took behind the scenes and we fed into Stability or Dolly, but we did Stability in this instance. So here's the results. It looks small, but it's actually bigger. Now these, we used Stable Diffusion Core, that's SDC, and these are 3 pennies each. So it's more expensive than Stable Diffusion, just the standard one. But the quality is insane. Now this is the how to wash a seagull. So the prompts were right here. Create an image showing a person gently examining a seagull's feathers and wings with a focus on the texture and clarity of the feathers. All right, let's check it out. Got the fingers. Sometimes it screws up on the fingers, but it did a good job here. Look at that. This is a dual brush, right? 2-in-1. I think it looks like he's sitting on a bucket of rice. I don't know. Very interesting. Floating. This is the new home decor thing. It's a floating faucet. So what you could do is you could say, you know what, I want to generate 15 images, and maybe 5 of them will be usable. Maybe the other 10 won't. You know, but this bulk image generator allows you to do that, to either fill in gaps in existing articles that have bad images, or you're trying to update the images or things like that, or just generate a lot more. So Amit asks, what's the optimized workflow for a fresh site using ZimmWriter? What are the steps? High level, I would start with getting your keywords. Okay. Now, if you don't care about keywords at all, just use the topical authority generator. But I would definitely have some keywords somewhere. Okay. If you do have keywords, then you can use you can turn them into titles manually, or you can use the SEO keywords to blog post titles and then kind of review that and edit that. You'll need to create your own categories though, because like to organize the SEO keywords, let's see where to go. If you're using this, you'll have to create your own categories because this won't do it for you, but the topical authority generator will. So you have to figure out what your goals are, what exactly you're trying to do. I do recommend manually creating your categories, at least on paper. And then once you have that, you can decide whether or not you want to create some pillar posts, and you could do that in the SEO writer, or you can just feed all your stuff into the bulk writer and just load your site up. For the sites that I made, the 6 sites I've made so far, I just fed them all at 200, 300 articles into the bulk writer with the appropriate category tag after them, and then just let them all upload. And then I would go and I guess I'm dripping everything, to be perfectly honest. I'm dripping stuff like 3 posts a week, and letting it schedule out over the next year and a half. So that's my kind of workflow. You can have somebody edit the stuff if you want to. You don't really have to. It's totally up to you, completely dependent on your niche. There's a lot more nuances, but that's my 60-second attempt at an explanation. All right. Almost out of time. Is it possible to edit the default ZimmWriter prompts so that I can translate everything to German and make it work better? You can't. I'm sorry. There's no way to do that. Right? And the prompts are always changing. So even if I've translated them, I'd have to have somebody on staff for all the different languages continually translating everything. Jamil asks, is there a way to request an article to have an article word count? You can't, because AI doesn't work that way. The only thing you can really do is you can set the length, but this length becomes ignored, not by ZimmWriter, but just by the AI in general, when we have more settings chosen. So if you put like the style mimic in, for instance, it's going to almost completely ignore this length. Not intentionally, but that's just what's going to happen. The AI just loves to write content. Alex asks, hey Matt, love to see what the new update will bring. Just wanted to let you know from your experience, which of these GP models actually adheres to long form articles, like say 5,000 words. Which of these, so if you're asking about GPT models, you're asking about OpenAI, And the OpenAI models we have are GPT-4, GPT-4 Turbo, and GPT 3.5 Turbo. They all work for, you could write a 20,000 word article if you wanted to, because it's not like ChatGPT. ChatGPT, you go in and you give it one prompt, write a 50,000 word blog post about XYZ. It's not going to do that. It caps out at about 1,000 or 1,500 words or so. You can hit continue writing, but eventually it will forget, what it's written, and there's all kinds of problems with that. ZimmWriter works completely different. ZimmWriter is, when you look at a blog post that ZimmWriter generates, it will, let's see, I actually forgot to show you this one. It will show you the number of calls, 33 calls to OpenAI. And the number of calls is the number of prompts, like I'm going to go contact OpenAI, I'm going to get a result. I'm going to go contact OpenAI, I'm going to get a result. And it keeps manipulating that data and writing section by section to create that long article. So yeah, you can write a 20,000 word article with ZimmWriter, no problem. You just need more H2s or H3s or H4s. They do. Perplexity does have an API, but we're not talking about new features right now. Can you share any custom prompts that you have used to build info articles in ZimmWriter that generated decent outputs? I mean, so all this stuff, I highly recommend this. If you don't get anything out of this, hopefully you're getting stuff out of this. If you don't get anything out, go to this site right here, aiblogpostwriter.com. I made a new site here because I'm demoing ZimmWriter content. I don't want to do this on my ranking tactics site because I have a lot of duplicate content on here, and it's so much that Google might be unhappy with it. But what I did was I took 60 articles, 60 titles, and I rewrote them 4 different times using different settings. So if you want to see what like 3.5 Turbo plus SERP scraping looks like, you can click on that category. And here are all the articles. Now there's some information up here. So the average cost of each article in this category was 6 pennies. So 100 articles would be around $6. And I took into account the stable diffusion costs and things like that. If you want to look at 3.5 Turbo with Mimic and a custom prompt, here's what this was. So you can kind of find maybe the type of niche that you're dealing with, saying, oh, I'm dealing with like a travel niche or something like that. So here's the setting for a travel niche that was 2 pennies. Now we didn't do any SERP scraping for this. So this is the kind of quality you can expect from ZimmWriter for these particular settings. So I would start there, Roger, as opposed to starting with, what custom prompt can I use to generate the output I want. Try to use the built-in things that ZimmWriter has before we start adding our own custom prompts. All right, a little bit over. I'll stop it in 3 or 4 minutes. I have 100 URLs on the same website, all are vacation rental niche, different properties. ZimmWriter will start the articles with the same word, easy footprint. I don't think it does. All the articles start with different things. Let's see here. I guess we could do travel. Here, where's our travel? All right, these are all travel. As you wander, you might think, when considering, yeah, they're all different words. Nothing starts with the same word. So will I be able to upload my product image and have ZimmWriter create something with backgrounds? You can't do that with ZimmWriter right now. There's probably some other software that's better for that. ZimmWriter is not really like a photo editing software. So we can't solve that right now. And then last question, Robin, you're the lucky lady. Is it possible to insert a small global info guidance in the bulk writer for each article? Yeah, you definitely can. That would be the bulk SEO CSV. So you can click over here, look at the Google Sheet, and all you would have is you'd have your title in here, and all this stuff would be empty. And then let's see, come on. All this other stuff would be empty if you wanted to. And then you'd have a little blurb for each section. This is the background information. So you could totally do that with the bulk writer using the bulk SEO CSV. Just read the directions up here. All right, hey guys, we're a couple minutes over. That was awesome. I hope you got some good feedback out of this, some good questions answered. I had fun. I hope you had fun. It's kind of weird just listening to myself. I wish I could hear all of you, but thanks for being loyal ZimmWriter users, and it's been a pleasure. And hopefully I can release this new version tomorrow for you all. The beta testers are testing it right now. It's all looking good. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. And until we talk again, good luck with your content generation, and I'll talk to you later.